Welcome into the Merrifield Sportsbook Show. I am not Nick Burt. It is week 11, folks, and for the first time in 2 years, the namesake of the Merrifield Sportsbook will actually be hosting the show, Matt Merrifield. J Walsh is here as well. JMF DeCoster is below me. I could not be more excited, fellas. This football slate stinks. It's the worst. Might be the worst November football year we've ever had. Last week wasn't a very good slate. This week kind of stinks. I don't know what the rest of the slate looks like the rest of the year. But I can't wait to be here. No Nick, unfortunately. He is in another continent right now. Currently making his way back. Nick, we missed you. I have a little surprise on who is making Nick's picks for this week. Or how he's making his picks, I should say. Or who. We'll see. Make sure to stick around for that. That's called the tease, Jay. Anyways, before we get to the J Walsh rankings, let's just take around the horn. We'll start with you, Mr. DeCoster. What is new in the world of Chicago? How about them Bears? Are the Bears back? Can we say that?
I think you're with me. I still don't think the Bears are good yet. They found an insane way to try to lose that game, but 5-3 is 5-3. I mean, the Colts went out and got Sauce Gardner. They lost to a pretty mediocre Steelers team, but they got Sauce Gardner and they're all in. Bears, I don't know. We'll see, but 5-3 is 5-3. So you find a way to win. So whatever.
I am also convinced my football team isn't very good, but we just traded our future for Sauce Gardner, who has not been very good this year or last year. So hey,
at least you're going all in.
If we can turn around Danny Dimes, who didn't even play that well this last week, and he looked like New York Giants Danny Dime against the Steelers, excuse me. You know what? Maybe we can turn Sauce Gardner around. I believe in Steichen. I believe, and I forget my owner's name, the one on the sidelines. I love her. She's great. She's everything that Jim Irsay wasn't, and it's perfect. We'll be back, and the AFC South sinks. So, did my team fuck themselves? I have no idea. I guess we'll find out. Mr. J Walsh, not a good weekend for your football, to say the least. Obviously, the surprising of the two was on Sunday when J.J. McCarthy walked in and out of Ford Field with his kneecaps, but also your college football coach and all of our college football coach still employed. Thoughts, comments, concerns?
In terms of Jonathan Smith still being employed, at this point, I doubt they're going to fire him before the season ends. So I think we can all just kind of stop pretending like it's going to happen. Just accept our fate that we're probably not winning another game for the rest of the year. Even though that was an absolute disgusting display of officiating in that game, but I'm not going to solely blame it on that. They didn't deserve to win. Going to the Lions, definitely a bit of a concerning game, especially with the amount of injuries sustained. And I have been very quick to praise Brad Holmes in his time as the GM with the Lions. He's done a great job, but I don't understand the Lions not making any moves at the deadline. I mean, you just saw your starting left guard go down for what looks like is going to be extended time. You don't have a lot of offensive line depth. Both your tackles are dinged up right now. I don't understand how you don't go out and grab somebody. I mean, they signed a practice squad player, but I don't understand how you don't go out and grab somebody. I know that the Colts may have possibly overpaid for Sauce Gardner, but at the very least, you have a team that's willing to try to go all in when you're having a good year. That must be nice. I'd love to experience it someday. But yeah, so hoping for the best, but not super optimistic. I still feel like the Lions have a decent shot to win the division, but at this point, I think barring a massive turnaround and a lot of people getting healthy at the right time, I think a Super Bowl might be getting a little close to out of reach at this point.
That's because the Chicago Bears are now the team to be reckoned with in the NFC North. Congratulations, Shay. You did it.
Duly noted.
I
will say, I'm not sure I've ever seen a team actively lose a game, then win a game, and then lose it again, quite like the Cincinnati Bengals did. against the Bears, but that was definitely an interesting game to watch.
I was watching with my dad, and we were saying this is going to be a worse loss than the Commanders game. Recency bias aside, like that would have been, you were up 2 scores with under 2 minutes left. That would have been way worse than the Commanders game. But I mean, you found a way to win. They would have done that under Eberflus, that bozo. So there you go.
Speaking of the Commanders, ouch. Back to the Bears.
Yeah, it sucked.
The only concern I have with the Bears, Jay, is that for a team, is it an insult that a team like the Bengals were so furious to losing to you that they started actively calling out their defense 5 minutes after the game ended in the locker room to the press?
Well, I think that was mainly because like the Jets game last week, and that was so bad. And like, I mean, they just can't win. They can't finish games, and their defense is so awful. I mean, yeah, it's part of it, but like, the Jets game, I think they lost by 1. Like that's insane that they can't find a way to win again. So Chase Brown and Jamar not happy. I mean, not my problem. That's my boss's problem, who's a diehard Bengals fan. So yeah.
There's like a tier of like 5 franchises you can't lose in that fashion to. The Bears, the Jets, the Browns are probably the 3 teams in that category. I guess the Jaguars maybe.
I would say at this point maybe the Dolphins, but yeah.
For this year specifically, but just in general, historically speaking.
And they also lost their division rival, the Steelers, in kind of heartbreaking fashion. So that doesn't help.
When a 40-year-old quarterback throws for his career high, former elite quarterback Joe Flacco has a career high at 40 years old, and you still lose, you have problems. But speaking of tiers of college football, let's get to the J Walsh Rankings, the Week 11 edition. I think this is Week 11. This is his 3rd edition of the year, maybe. I don't know. Let's pull it up. Let's bring it in. Boom. There it is. J Walsh Rankings, Week 11. Mr. Walsh, the floor is yours.
Beautiful. Let's just get into it without further ado. A lot of movement down toward the middle and bottom tiers with a lot of losses. We're sticking with Memphis for the top-ranked group of 5 team. Obviously, they've got a big matchup against Tulane coming up. That's going to impact that spot. And for the time being, Memphis holds the spot. Coming in 15, 14, 13, we have Utah, Vanderbilt, Miami. Obviously, 2 of these teams dropped from last week's poll, 2 losses. So they managed to hang on, but they are currently on the outside looking in for the playoff picture. Moving on to the number 12 spot. 12, we have Louisville, 11, Notre Dame, 10, Oklahoma, and 9, Texas Tech. A couple good wins in here, just a couple good teams. Texas Tech, I think, is a very sneaky team that could work their way potentially to a potential top 4 bye. Actually, I think they might. No. So right now they're not in position for it because of BYU. Obviously, we're about to see what happens there, but I think they're definitely a contender for a top 4 bye going into the final playoff rankings. Moving on, we got Oregon number 8, BYU number 7, Ole Miss number 6, Georgia number 5. We're getting to the point of the rankings where there's not a lot of change because these teams just keep on winning. So not a lot to say here. Moving on, we have number 4, Alabama, number 3, Texas A&M, number 2, Ohio State, and number 1, Indiana. Obviously, the numbers 1 through, I believe, 6 were unchanged from last week. Like I said, these teams just keep on winning. I think there's a clear separation from the top 6 and then kind of everybody else that's contending. So yeah, those are this week's rankings. Getting into the categories that we have this week. Obviously, we have our top group of 5 teams. Memphis, James Madison, Tulane I would also put up there, but I think those are definitely 2 of the top teams in contention right now. Familiar with your game. These 2 teams cannot fool me. I received multiple requests to put them in the rankings in previous weeks, and they both lost last week. They cannot fool me. I'm familiar with their game. Tennessee has played 3 good teams, and they've lost to all 3 of them. Houston, not a very good team. So can't fool me. I'm familiar with your game. Wednesday Night Warriors. I love this category. I looked this up earlier today. Jacksonville State, the Wednesday Night Warriors. Jacksonville State as a program is undefeated on Wednesday night in their program's history. They are a perfect 7-0. Obviously, they only joined FBS in, I believe it was 2022. They made the jump to FBS play, but since then they've played 7 Wednesday night games, undefeated, including a victory last week. They are the Wednesday Night Warriors. Go Gamecocks. And then returning again, Oblivion, UMass, you suck. As we're recording here on Tuesday night, they are currently losing. I believe last I checked, it was 24-10 at halftime. So yeah, they belong below the floor. So with that said, I'll open the floor up to you guys for your thoughts.
Go ahead, Jay.
Any chance you can go back to I just want to see the ranking again. I saw you didn't have Virginia, which I applaud you because we talked about them a few weeks ago. Matt, I agree. I have no respect for Virginia. I know they beat Louisville on the road, but still, like, they have played literally nobody outside of them. And they're going to get demolished even if they make the CFP. So I applaud you not having Virginia in there. I think Miami is a little too high. I just think they're just so. I just don't know what to think of them. It's just the Mario Cristobal special, losing to a pretty mid NC State team. I'd be willing to go a little lower there. Now they did beat Notre Dame, so I could understand why. But I mean, already having 2 losses, it's just like it's kind of inexcusable for them. Other than that, I mean, I like it. I don't. I mean, we can have this debate, but I mean, for now, I would still go Ohio State at 1, and I think that's just because when Ohio State and Indiana play in the Big Ten championship, I think Ohio State will win that game, not convincingly, but it'll be a neutral field. Obviously, I think Ohio State is the better team. I know Indiana has the better win over Oregon, but Ohio State also has gone on the road to Washington and beat them, and then beat Texas, who's looked better as of late. So I know Indiana has a better win. They've looked better this year, but I would go Ohio State at 1 for now. So,
can I ask, J Walsh, you made a comment about Texas Tech getting the bye. I didn't fully hear what you said. For this year, they changed the playoff. It's top 4 teams get a bye. Conference championship does not matter. So
gotcha. I forgot about the rule change. Obviously, I mean, with SEC championship, they could potentially still be in play for that, as at least one of the SEC teams at the top is going to lose, and if they win out, they could get up there. But I definitely think that if it's just top 4 teams, they're not necessarily a threat for it, but I think they are a sneaky good team.
And getting rid of the top 4, getting a top 4 conference champions, getting a bye makes conference championship games a moot point for the power conferences, but that's besides the point. In terms of the rankings, I formally request that you just do a top 12 going forward, because some of these teams don't even deserve, I mean, Utah is fine. Like, Utah is what they are. They're going to beat the teams they're better than, but when they play, BYU, when they play Texas Tech, they're going to lose. But like, Miami is Mario Cristobal special. They're what they are. They are who we thought they were. Louisville, I think, is fraudulent, especially with Isaac Brown going down. I'm curious to see how they look the next couple of weeks. I think, I would put Vanderbilt at 12, and that's the top 12 teams in the country. Utah would be 13 for me, but I get it. You have to rank 15 teams, and it's tough picking. So I applaud you for doing your best here. Otherwise, I would put Oregon ahead of BYU. I can't explain it other than Mormon magic. I don't like what I see from BYU. I don't know. I get it. Moving back to your tiers, I can't wait for JMU to be the top G5 team. My parlay this week reflects certain narratives. And of course, obviously, the Roadrunners, baby, ending Tulane's season. Congratulations to Jeff Traylor. And over to familiar with your game, Tennessee. I don't know what the fuck happened. I couldn't tell you what happened there. And Houston, can I interest you in betting Houston plus 1.5 in Orlando on Friday night.
I always hate taking a +1.5 bet. I no comment.
Does Scott Frost have any right to be favored over a 7-2 football team? I don't know. Isn't that a rivalry game?
It's not 2016 anymore, so no.
I feel like those teams are like, well, I mean, they played in the American, but I feel like that game was always, I don't know if it's an actual rivalry game of just because they were both always good in the American. But besides the point, Houston +1.5, not on my parlay. Otherwise, I got nothing else. So with that, let's move to the board for the week. We have 2 games this week that we need to discuss, which is surprising. One of them really probably shouldn't even be on here, but we haven't had like an actual board to talk about because, like I said at the top of the show, college football kind of stinks right now in terms of matchups. Shout out Penn State for being ass. So let's start off with the game of the week, College Game Day, a noon kickoff, not on Fox. So ESPN continuing to fill up and really lean heavily into the shit list. First off, the YouTube TV stuff, and now you're putting the game of the week at noon on ABC. It's Texas Tech hosting BYU at high noon, College Game Day in Lubbock. I won't be able to watch. Texas Tech favored by 10, the number 9 team in the country, favored by 10 points at home against the number 8 BYU undefeated Cougars. Jada Coster, does the Mike Merrifield rule reign supreme? I would like to point out the BYU has won 2 straight against the Mike Merrifield rule. They might be Merrifield proof. They might.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, I somewhat agree with you on your BYU point. Like, I don't know that they're all that great.
It's magic.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot that they find a way though. Kalani Sitake's a really good head coach. Like, he's done such a good job at BYU. And with Texas Tech, like, it's just so weird that they're 11-point favorites. Like, you know, with Will Hammond tearing his ACL, like, we don't know, like, you know, how their backup's going to look. Is their
Baron Morton was their starter to start the year. He came back last week. So while Hammond's out for the year, Morton is back.
Yeah, Morton. Yeah, Morton's decent. I don't know. Part of me really wants to take BYU in the points here. I mean, I'm not telling you they're going to win the game outright, but I mean, BYU just finds a way to like keep these games really close, especially when they were an underdog against Utah. Like, you know, they found a way to win that game. They found a way to beat Arizona. They're just a gritty team. You know, I don't think they're great. Like, you know, they could easily like collapse on the stretch like they did last year. But I like BYU in the points here. That's just a ton of points. This game could be a lot of fun to watch. And yeah, like you said, this is like all these matchups stink. I'm obviously looking forward to watching this one. So I'll take BYU in the points here.
Mr. J Walsh. BYU has won. Obviously, they're 8-0. They were trailing at halftime to Iowa State 2 weeks ago. They were losing against Utah at home. They went to double overtime the previous week at Arizona. So they have really been flying by the skin of their teeth. Can they continue and go into Lubbock with the tortilla-less Lubbock and win a football game? Cover the 10 points. I should add.
The 10-point spread is definitely much more interesting to me than winning. I don't think they win this game. Like I said, I think Texas Tech is a really good football team. Obviously, I mean, we saw what they did to Utah earlier in the year and kind of their biggest test of the season up to this point. Obviously, I mean, like Jay pointed out, they're down Will Hammond. Obviously, Baron Morton is back, but you know, it's always shaky when you're without a backup quarterback and one of them's been struggling and your starter's been struggling with injury. However, the thing that I want to point out here is BYU is not exactly the picture of health right now either. They have their starting running back, LJ Martin. He's listed as probable right now for the game, but he's banged up with a shoulder injury right now. So he's likely not going to be 100%. Their backup running back is out. Their third string running back is questionable. So they are really going to be hurting in the ground game. Most of their wins come via the ground game. I mean, all due respect to Bear Bachmeier, he's having a solid season, but they win most of these games on the ground. And if they're down to one or even zero of their top three running backs, it could get really dicey, especially because Texas Tech has the best run defense in the Big 12. So I think Texas Tech wins this game. The 10-point spread does make it interesting. I still lean the Red Raiders here. I just think they're a really good team, and I think the Mormon magic, as you put it, is kind of running out. Obviously, anything can happen, but I would be taking Texas Tech here for sure.
I originally, when I made my picks for the week, left this game off my board. I am now starting to lean into it a little bit, and it might get added last moment. Fire drill. I like Texas Tech a lot. First off, it's Mike Merrifield rule. I know I pointed out that BYU's beat it 2 straight games, but to be fair, Iowa State 2 weeks ago and Iowa State still is just completely battered with injuries. Like, they might have the worst injury luck in the country this year, which is unfortunate because that was a team that looked really promising early in the year, and BYU was still trailing at halftime to them. And J Walsh, to what you pointed out, not only does Texas Tech have one of the best the best run defense in the Big 12, they might have one of the top 4 run defense in America. Like, what they did, the money they spent in the portal was money well spent. And even if they had the run game healthy, I don't know how effective the ground game would be. So Bear Bachmeier's going to have to win them a football game. And I don't know if he's capable of doing that. Going on the road into Lubbock, Masked Rider, flying out. I'm going Texas Tech. I don't think I'm going to add it to my parlay, unfortunately, but I would confidently lay the 10 because Texas Tech coming in 8-1, all 8 wins by 10 or more. When they win big this year. Their one loss was to Arizona State on the road when Sam Leavitt was still healthy. So I think Texas Tech is really good. I kind of wanted to fight it early in the year, but they're the one instance where, like, spending money in the portal has really been successful for them, going out and really just rehauling your team. I give them a lot of credit, and I think they get it done, and they're the team to beat in the Big 12, and I'm curious to see how good they actually are come playoff time. With that, let's move over to the SEC. We can kind of get through this game quickly. It's kind of gross, but I want to throw it on there because it is a ranked matchup, so I feel like we need to talk about this. This should be the noon game. Number 3, Texas A&M is laying 7 heading into Columbia, Missouri to take on the number 19 Missouri Tigers. Can Eli Drinkwitz finally win a big game, Mr. J Walsh? They're catching 7 points at home in a top 20 matchup.
I was very high on Missouri going into this year. I had a feeling that they were going to overachieve this year. Obviously, I mean, I think their over-under win total was like 6.5, so that was easy money for me. But I don't think they can win this game. I think Texas A&M is legit. Mike Elko has done a great job in College Station this year. They are playing at a very high level. And not to mention Missouri in the last few games they played has not looked great. And I don't think it's a coincidence that level of play declining has coincided with their toughest matchups of the season. In obviously the 2 losses to Alabama and Vanderbilt. But I don't think Missouri is quite built for this game. Obviously, I mean, they've got good players. Bo Pribula's been playing very well at quarterback this year. Ahmad Hardy's a fantastic running back, but I think Texas A&M rolls in this game. I like the Aggies -7 here. I think they win by double digits, to be honest. Even though it's at Missouri, I really like Texas A&M right now. I think they are certainly one of the best teams in the country. I think they might be the best team in the SEC right now. Obviously, not predicting they're going to win the SEC, but I think right now they're playing like they are the best team in the Southeast.
I definitely agree. Marcel Reed's been very fun to watch this year. Casey Concepcion's been very, very dynamic for them as well. Yeah, you look at the one thing that scares me is Mizzou did play really, really, really good football against Alabama at home, only lost by 3. Was in that football game a decent majority of the game. I think they lost on a pick. So they were in that game majority, but Texas A&M is really, really good. I probably will. I'm going to lean A&M here. It's just Mizzou's been playing some just gross football recently, specifically that Vandy game where their offense was just non-existent. I like some of the guys they have, like you said, like Ahmad Hardy on defense, and then on defense, Zion Young, shout out, former MSU commit, Mel Tucker commit. He's actually been pretty good for them, but I will. I like A&M in this spot. Maybe this is the time where A&M can win the SEC for the first time since 1992, or win a conference for the first time since 1992, I believe it was. So now's their time. I'll take A&M.
I would have to agree. Breaking update. I have taken Texas A&M -6.5 off of my board and replaced it with Texas Tech -10 because I can't justify. I think I yelled at Jay earlier this year about laying 7 in the SEC on the road. Missouri, well, yes, I don't think they just have the horses to beat a really good football team, which Texas Tech or Texas A&M is. They've lost 2 really close games, in Auburn, or they beat Auburn in a game that was absolutely gross and disgusting. But the tough loss to Vanderbilt, the tough loss to Alabama a couple weeks ago. I don't know if they get over the hump here, but I think that a flat 7, I would have to take the points and take them to cover +7. I don't love it, but also Mike Elko. We're getting late in the year, and I don't know if this is A&M's defense is for real. I don't know how much I believe in Marcel Reed in the offense to really get it done when it matters. It kind of happened in a similar fashion last year where they seemed primed to make the playoff and things kind of fell apart. So I'm taking I'm taking Missouri +7, and I'd also take the under at 48.5. I think that I think it's gonna be another rock fight, 17-14 type final score out in Columbia, Missouri. Before we get to some of our picks for the week, we're gonna start with MACtion picks. Big time. MACtion starts this week. I want to revisit the J Walsh rankings because I'm realizing a team was omitted. A certain team in orange is not in the top 15, Mr. Walsh. I can't believe I forgot about a certain SEC school. Where are the Texas Longhorns, might I ask?
I am still not a believer in Texas right now. Obviously, I mean, they got the win last week against Vanderbilt, but I need to see them perform against top tier teams at a consistent level before I can justify putting them up here with 2 losses to their name. Obviously the opening game of the season against Ohio State, the defense looked very solid, but the offense looked just absolutely abysmal. Arch Manning has been a major disappointment this year. I can't justify putting them close to the top of these rankings without seeing a little bit more, or not close to the top of these rankings, but close to the playoff picture without seeing a little bit more of them. Obviously, they've got opportunity to kind of earn their way up there, but I can't justify it right now.
Fair. I'm terrible at my job in my interim week of hosting this show. I forgot that the CFP rankings dropped earlier tonight. So now I'm doing a little side-by-side on my phone, comparing it to what I'm looking at and showing on the screen. Have you two examined the top 25 based on the CFP?
I have not. I've made it a rule that when I'm crafting my rankings, I completely avoid all other ranking systems. I just go based off of what I see.
Well, Mr. Walsh, your top 6 is identical outside of Ohio State is the number 1 team in the land, according to the college football playoff, and Indiana is number 2.
Moving like I said, I think the top 6 are pretty clear right now. After that, it starts to get a little murky, but I said when we were unveiling the rankings, I think the top 6 teams in the country are pretty undisputed at the moment.
I did misspeak. Technically top 7 because BYU is 7. They have Texas Tech at 8 and Oregon at 9. Notre Dame is the number 10 team in the country, not 11. Texas is the number 11 team in the land, according to the college football playoff, and then Oklahoma. Utah is 13. The Virginia Cavaliers are the 14th best team in America, according to the college football playoff. That's just terrorism right there. Vanderbilt was omitted. Number 15 was Louisville, by the way. So Vanderbilt, the first team out of the top 15. If the CFP only did a top 15. Let's see, Miami just outside there, number 18, behind Georgia Tech. Iowa's a top 20 team. USC is a top 20 team. So the Big Ten has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams ranked in the top 25. Washington and Michigan are 21 and 23. So there's that.
Going back to the Texas thing, are we all just forgetting that they lost to a currently 3-5 Florida team exactly a month ago today? I mean, we're not talking about at the beginning of the season. We're talking about a month ago. They lost to a Florida team that has lost 5 games this year.
Fair. They also went on the road week 1 and lost by a touchdown in a rock fight against Ohio State. And I think we'll see how it plays out.
They also needed overtime to beat a bad Mississippi State team.
Very fair. And Kentucky. But
yes, I am very much not sold on Texas. Obviously,
like
I said, their final 3 games, they've got 2 major tests that they can, if they pass those tests, they will absolutely earn my respect.
You bet your ass ABC wants Texas playing Texas A&M on Black Friday night at DKR, playing for a playoff spot. You know damn well they're beating Georgia.
But nobody can watch it. Shout out YouTube TV.
The script writers, the lizard people are coming out in full forces. There's going to be UFOs above Sanford Stadium. Kirby Smart's going to get abducted. He might get arrested before the game next week or some shit. There's no way Texas is losing next week in Sanford. Anyways, let's get to the picks. Let's go with the MACtion picks. Let's get this off my screen. Back to MACtion. It's here. It's great. This is our dumpster dive of the week. We're keeping it MACtion restricted, even though 2 of the games are being played. Here's recording on a Tuesday night. I'm going to start us off. Wednesday night, November 5th. This will be posted and the game will already be over. Give me Kent State plus 1.5. The Flashes, the revelation. Ball State stinks. They stink. Kent State just beat Bowling Green a week and a half ago, whenever their last game was. They beat the crap out of UMass. They've been okay. They played some close-ish games. They played close with Buffalo. Kent State. I think Ball State's absolutely terrible for being a 3-5 team. Mr. J, let's hear it.
Yeah, I got NIU plus 14.5 against Toledo. I think that's a lot of points. I know NIU's not been great this year, but it's MACtion. You never know what's going to happen. So I don't really have any great reasoning behind that, but give me NIU plus 14.5. I feel like they can keep it a little close against the Rockets. So,
Mr. J Walsh, technically your pick isn't full MACtion because it's not a midweek game, but it counts nonetheless. Let's hear it.
It is not a midweek game. It's the only one that won't be actively already played by the time this episode releases. But I'm going with Eastern Michigan minus 2.5 at home against Bowling Green. If we're going just pure based off most dumpster dive worthy pick, this might be it. This is just going to be a not good game to watch, which truly I think overcomes the fact that it's on Saturday to make it pure MACtion, because this is what MACtion is all about. Just 2 pathetic football teams just going at it. Eastern Michigan at the Factory. Not much else to say. MSU legend Noah Kim, absolute GOAT, gonna lead the Eagles to victory on that beautiful, beautiful gray field. Go Eagles. Eastern Michigan minus 2.5.
Incredible pick. And with that, it's time for our week 6 picks, our 5 to 6 selections of the week, plus our lock of the week. I'm going to go first with Nick's picks for the week, who were made by none other than friend of the program, Mike Merrifield. Because Nick, like I said before, is in a different continent. He's currently, the game already ended as of recording. I have no idea. Did Tottenham win? He was at the Tottenham Champions League match. I probably should look that up. Let's see if he's even happy or not.
Yeah, they won 4-0 against
Who they play, Jay?
FC. No idea. This is some team from like Turkey.
FC Copenhagen.
Yeah,
FC
Copenhagen is not Turkey, Jay.
That's definitely Denmark, but shout out FC Copenhagen.
I don't know.
Anyways, Jay would love a Danish. Well, Jay probably loves a good Danish, but he also would love a good Danish cafe as well. Regardless, let's move back to college football. Mr. Nick Burt asked me to just have Mike Merrifield make his picks for the week because he couldn't find spreads. He could have just opened the CBS app, but I guess he was trying to go through, FanDuel or whatever app, and he couldn't find good lines. And he just couldn't. The Lion could not concern himself with making picks, so Mike Merrifield concerned himself instead. Here we go. The plays are as follows. Indiana minus 14.5 at noon on Saturday afternoon. Indiana going to Happy Valley in a shell of Penn State football, 14.5. He's then rolling Texas A&M. He's going to lay the 7 and on the road in Columbia. And Mike Merrifield rolling with the Aggies on the road. Also at 3:30, he's going to take another touchdown favorite. He's going to take Oregon minus 6.5 at Kinnick over the Iowa Hawkeyes. Bold. That's all I'm going to say. The bold strategy. Moving on, he's taking Vanderbilt minus 6.5 versus they're playing Auburn, I believe, on Saturday night. I need to find the game. I know they're playing Auburn. I can't remember what time. Yeah, they're playing 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. Vanderbilt.
Is that at Auburn or at?
No, they're hosting. Vanderbilt's hosting. Thank God.
I was gonna say taking minus 6.5 in Jordan Hare is a death wish.
Hey, I took Kentucky last week and they won outright. But anyways, Vanderbilt, I don't love that pick because as we've found out, teams, their first game after firing a head coach, play really well. So Vanderbilt will probably win. Will they cover 6.5? We'll find out. And then I'm confused. I'm going to read off the list. I think Mike Merrifield sent me 7 picks, even though he says there's 6. Hawaii plus 6.5 on the island at midnight. He felt the need to add that because he also loves Hawaii on the island. They're getting 6.5 against San Diego State. It's actually a good pick. And then his lock of the week is Texas Tech minus 10 at home against the Mormons, BYU. So those are Mike Merrifield's 6 or 7 picks of the week. I don't know if he counted it. I guess I can run through. Indiana's 1, A&M's 2, Oregon's 3, Vanderbilt's 4, Hawaii's 5, Texas Tech is 6. There's 6 picks of the week for Nick Burt, presented by Mike Merrifield, presented by Matt Merrifield on the Merrifield Sportsbook Show, presented by Rolling Rock. Boom. That's how you read it through. Jay, you're up.
All right, I don't know how I can top that. We'll start off with.
You can't.
Yeah, no, you can't. We're gonna start off with Memphis Tulane. This is a massive game for Group of 5 implications. I'm gonna lay the 5.5 with Memphis. Memphis is obviously fighting for that Group of 5 bid. They're a very, very good team this year. Obviously, they're gonna get blown out by whoever they play in that CFP. But I will lay 5.5 with Memphis. Vanderbilt, I am also gonna lay the 6.5. I like that spot here. Giving me a touchdown against Vanderbilt's. I'm not saying they're desperate, but yeah, they have to win this game against a pretty bad Auburn team in order to stay alive. So I like Vanderbilt minus 6.5. Next, this game. This is one of the grossest picks I'll make. Clemson against Florida State. I know both teams are bad. I get it.
Oh,
Clemson,
Jay, damn it.
Well, we're going Clemson minus 2.5 to Death Valley. I know both teams suck.
If we were including Power 5 or Power 4
that'd be the garbage one.
Dump picks, that deserves to be there.
Yeah, but I'll take Clemson minus 2.5 and Death Valley against the garbage Florida State team. So I'll take that. Next, we got Bama.
Garbage, by the way. Just saying. Sorry.
Oh, I know, but it's at Death Valley. So, we'll see what happens. Next, we got Bama minus 10 against LSU, who just fired their coach. I like Bama minus 10 in Tuscaloosa there. Obviously, Brian Kelly just got the axe. So I think Bama Bama's obviously fighting for that top 4 bid there. I like Bama minus 10. Next, this is going to be my lock. UCLA minus 1.5 against Nebraska. Nebraska just lost Dylan Raiola for the year. So I like UCLA minus the 1.5. So those are my 5 picks. Had a pretty good week last week. Maybe we'll get a push again. Probably not, but There you go.
Incredible. Mr. J Walsh, let's hear it.
All right, we will get into the picks. The first of these picks is going to make a certain member of this committee happy, simply because it's a team that he's been talking to me about for several weeks now. Going back to my roots, give me the Dukes. James Madison minus 13.5 at Marshall.
Great pick.
I made my living at the start of this show picking James Madison. I'm sticking with it. Give me the Dukes. Next pick, going with Georgia minus 7.5 at Mississippi State. Georgia's good. Mississippi State's not. It really is as simple as that. I know Mississippi State's put in a couple decent performances recently, but they're not on Georgia's level. I think Georgia walks through this game. Give me the dogs here. My third pick, we've already talked about it, obviously. Texas A&M minus 7.5 at Missouri. I really like the Aggies here. I know I'm breaking the cardinal sin of Matt Merrifield over here and laying over a touchdown in multiple SEC road games right now, but I feel good about both of these teams, particularly the Aggies, like I said. I think they get it done. Next pick, I am also going for LSU Alabama, similar to Jay DeCoster, but I am not taking the spread. I'm taking over 49.5. LSU's defense, not great. Alabama has been playing well lately. Their offense in particular has been humming. I think Alabama looking to run it up against their rival when they're down. I think they could score 40 by themselves here. So I think I can count on LSU for 10 points. So I like the over here. And then I'm going against Mr. DeCoster here with my final pick. I'm going Nebraska. Plus 1.5, or actually, no, I didn't even take the plus 1.5. I took Nebraska money line on the road at UCLA, coming off Dylan Raiola's injury, TJ Lateef in. They've still got playmakers. Emmett Johnson has been a stud for them, carrying the rock this year. They've got good receivers. I like Nebraska here. I don't think UCLA is really all that. And obviously, I mean, we know that home crowd is not intimidating to play in front of in the slightest. So I'm rolling with the Huskers here to carry it to LA, get the job done in the name of Dylan Raiola. So those are my 5 picks. My lock of the week, I'm going to go with the Aggies, minus 7.5. I like it a lot. Give me A&M. I'll probably regret it because A&M has a history of choking when I believe in them, but I'm all in.
Jay Walsh, can I interest you? Because I don't hate the logic of your Alabama pick. Unfortunately, I don't believe in the LSU offense to get 8 points. I just looked. LSU or Alabama's point total just for them is 30.5, and it's minus 114 either way. Alabama over 30.5 might be the play there. I'm just saying. I don't know if we're allowed to. I say you go for it. That's the pick.
Alabama over 30.5 is 100% the play. LSU
100%.
is down. LSU is down. Bama's gonna want to just beat the dog shit out of them in that game.
Even if LSU finds a way to stay in this game is the last couple of years has always been high scoring. Anyways, let's get to my picks for the week. Let's start off. I have 2 Friday night picks because we're getting after it this week. Starting off Friday night, give me Tulane plus 7 going into Memphis. It was a look-ahead spot last week. The Roadrunners got them, but they're going to fuck things up in the American because the American's going to get real weird real quick. Shit's going to get crazy. They don't have to win, but I think Tulane might win on Friday. I can't get behind Memphis. Like I do think Tulane's the best team in the American. Them or South Florida. Just the American's not going to make the playoff because JMU is going to. Bob Chesney, future Spartan. So yeah, give me Tulane plus 7 on the road in Memphis Friday night. Also on Friday night, give me USC minus 13.5 against the Wildcats. Northwestern's been fun, but they're going to have to go out West Coast Friday night, and USC, I think USC is solid. I think they're good. I think they're going to be able to spread it out. The public likes Northwestern because they're a gritty team. I know USC struggled in Lincoln, but this is a different type of matchup. Like USC's just got the athletes to spread it out. I think Lincoln Riley's not going to have an issue getting the ball out to his playmakers. Their Jade Mayava has looked good. I know he's struggled the last couple weeks. It's been an up and down October. Friday night at home, USC gets right. They beat Northwestern by 13.5 or more. Moving into Saturday, Texas Tech -9.5. I talked myself into it earlier. I love it. They're gonna win by more than 10. Mike Merrifield rule. They're gonna shut down the run, and one of these times I'm gonna get BYU. One of them. You know what? You always say get off the train too early. No, I want to be on the train when I'm right, and it's gonna happen. I can feel it. Also at noon, Indiana -14.5. Penn State stinks. Kurt Signetti is going to covers big spreads. Unless you're playing Jonathan Smith, he covers big spreads. Give me Indiana -14.5 in Happy Valley. Like it's going to be a morgue at Beaver Stadium on Saturday.
I cannot wait for the cowardly field goal to get them within 2 touchdowns so they cover, just like MSU did.
I don't see it. And then they're going to announce right after the game ends that it's Michigan State and Penn State on CBS on 3:30 because there's a 50-50 chance it happens. Poor Brad Nessler gonna have to get a crunchy burger on Friday night and then go call a 3/4 empty stadium for Penn State and Michigan State and the Battle of the Land-Grant Trophy.
Hey, Alessio Milivojevic is gonna light up that Nittany Lions defense,
and we're still gonna lose. Moving on, I'm riding with J Walsh. Give me the Dukes. -13.5 at Marshall. Marshall's not very good. JMU is good. They've covered the big numbers. The best team in the Sun Belt, the Fun Belt, baby. Give me the Dukes -13.5. That's my lock of the week, too. And finally, Indiana's my lock of the week. I like Indiana. And finally, my last pick. What time is this game even at? Hold on. Fuck. Where is it? It's TCU. They're -5.5. on Fox, 3:30 Saturday afternoon against Iowa State. TCU on the road, bad football team. Almost lost to West Virginia. That's when they got beat by multiple scores to Kansas State. It's when they lost to Arizona State in that death trap back in September. TCU at home, very good football team. Very good football team. They beat SMU. They beat Baylor. They covered against Colorado. I think they cover Saturday afternoon. Iowa State is just beat to death. They got nothing left. I can't imagine they get up for this game on the road. They've lost 4 in a row. This isn't the one Iowa State gets here late in the year. TCU wants a win here, and then they get a nice little game against BYU. The only thing I'm scared about is a look-ahead spot because they head to BYU next weekend on the road. But I still think TCU gets it done, -5.5. Those are my 6 picks. Indiana, -14.5 is the lock. So, gentlemen, we've covered all we needed to cover. Is there anything else we'd love to discuss?
I saw it on Twitter. I don't know. Obviously, I mean, fake news on Twitter is abundant, but I don't know how reliable the source is. Allegedly, Tarek Skubal is getting close to being moved. Don't know how legit that is, but if so, 29, I will miss you forever. I'm sorry this organization failed you. I'm sorry Chris Ilitch is the biggest cheap ass on the planet with the deepest pockets, but just does not want – he's got the deepest pockets, but his arms are not long enough to reach them. So
he's not.
I'm sorry.
He's a short human being. I don't know if you've ever seen Chris Ilitch.
Oh, I have. He goes into the store.
He's very muscular, though.
The Illich's shop for their tennis rackets at the store that I work at. I'm very aware of Chris Ilitch. I've met him and his children many times. But yes, I'm sorry, Tarek. I'm sorry this organization failed you. I will be rooting for you to be great elsewhere, just not against the Tigers. But
can I interest you in Shota? Can I interest you in Shota Imanaga hitting free agency?
Yeah, as if he's going anywhere except the Los Angeles Dodgers.
No, he's a Detroit. I mean that's your consolation prize is Shota Imanaga right there. Congrats. You'll sign it for $20 million a year to give up like 2 home runs a game. So
that sounds delightful. I got nothing. There's really not much to talk about on my end. I could talk about why I still think Michigan basketball is going to be ass this year. But
Here,
I don't care
yeah.
what they did against Oakland yesterday. If you watch those highlights, Oakland looked like a high school team. Like they couldn't. It was brutal to watch. And then Michigan decided to make 19 threes. They're going to do that one other time the rest of the season. But anyways,
So can we talk about how concerning it is that not only in the exhibition against UConn, but obviously the season opener against Colgate, MSU, I believe, shot a combined, I want to say like
Tom Izzo did the math in the press
57% from the
conference.
free throw line
Mm-hmm.
on like 80 attempts.
Yeah, it was like 85 attempts.
Yeah, I really hope that's not going to continue through the season, because if it does, we are absolutely breathtakingly fucked.
Well, good news is that Jeremy Fears went 6 for 6 from the line. Also good news, Jeremy Fears is the next Mateen Cleaves. That guy rocks. I love it.
If he can figure out how to shoot threes, I will love him till the day he dies.
I think he will. I mean, he only took one yesterday. I know he missed it. I didn't see how it looked because I didn't pay for Big Ten Plus. I eventually joined. I'm not going to incriminate myself on how I consumed the second half of the game, Jay.
As noted yesterday, this show is staunchly against password sharing, 100%.
Incredibly against it.
Nick Burt and I noted that many times last week.
Smart. Good news is I don't have to password share the rest of the year. I should have made a line for how many times people were going to bitch on Twitter about the production quality of Big Ten Plus.
I heard. I also was not watching the Big Ten Plus broadcast, but I heard the Big Ten Plus announcers were definitely something. I heard.
I mean, one of them is Joe Dez, who I will never disrespect, and I love Joe. And I think I have no idea. I didn't listen to it, so I have no idea.
I heard that there were some interesting comments made about the makeup of MSU's roster and certain players, but I believe the phrase "possible 3-level scorer" was thrown around about Carson Cooper, which
that was probably Joe.
I don't know that there's a player that I don't know that there's a player that phrase has ever applied to less than Carson Cooper, but yeah.
Thoughts on Jeremy Fears playing 40 minutes a night because Divine Ochungwu might be the worst basketball player ever graced the green.
It'd be awfully nice if we had a senior combo guard that could play backup point guard at a sufficiently high level when Jeremy Fears was off the floor.
Or how about
it'd be great when that happened.
Or how about a nice sophomore who had a really good season, especially down the stretch, became the number one option on offense, who's now playing 5 minutes a night for a 2-4 Orlando Magic team. Wouldn't that be nice?
To be fair, I can't blame a guy for taking a significant amount of money that was thrown at him. Trey Holloman's money that he received is not that much superior to justify that decision.
My argument to Jace Richardson is that money would still be there after this year or next year. He would be the 25th pick in the draft, even if he left after this year. I don't think his draft stock would have improved or gotten worse by staying an extra year. But we went over this, I think, at length last year. So it's whatever. I wish Jace the best. I'm not upset that he left. Of the two options, I'm less upset at him that he left. I don't care that Trey left. I understand it from the outside money standpoint. So. Hey,
I don't understand it. The only part of it I understand is that he's not making it to the NBA as a 2 guard because he's not big enough. So he needed to try to be a point guard, and he wasn't ever going to be a true point guard with Jeremy Fears here. That's the only part I understand. But he left to go to North Carolina State, and he's not even the starting point guard at North Carolina State.
Yeah, obviously now he's got egg on his face because Will Wade, noted good person Will Wade, decided to stand by his players and do right by people. So
a very good person.
Yeah. Noted good guy. Walter
on and off the court, he's a great guy.
Anyways, let's finish this. Walter Payton, Man of the Year, Will Wade. That's the name of the episode. Let's get out of here.
Very similar to Jake Retzlaff, some would say.
Okay. Flag. Anyways, I don't even know how Nick closes these things.
Throw back to a couple episodes ago.
Great. Yeah. Noted good guy alert. Anyways, What other shows are on the Nick Burt Broadcast Network?
Top of the perch.
Top of the Perch, yes. I'm sure there'll be a new episode of that, considering Tottenham beat a Turkish Copenhagen squad.
Yes.
Thank you, Jay.
Okay.
Noted Turkish city, Copenhagen.
All right. Anyways, thank you for watching the Merrifield Sportsbook Show. We'll be back to we'll be less off the wheels, less off the walls next week when Nick is hopefully back. God, I hope so. If you're still listening at this point or watching, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Merrifield Sportsbook Show. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at the Merrifield S Book. See our picks when the graphics are posted. Appreciate you all. Good luck this week with your picks. May God have mercy on your soul. And hopefully we only have 3 more weeks left of Jonathan Smith. One can hope. But from Matt Merrifield, Justin Walsh, and Jada Coster, and Nick Burt from London, you have been watching and listening to the Merrifield Sportsbook Show.